right, well, hey everybody, it's Grim Green from grimgreen.com back here today. Thank you so much for joining me again for another random review. We're taking a week off from both Tuesday Bro Tuesday and the Thursday vlog, but it doesn't matter because I have a review, and what we're going to be talking about today is this little RDTA right here. I've been having really just a fantastic time with this. This is the KOF, or King of Flavor RDA from Hop and Vape. In order to get to know it just a little bit better, what we're going to do is go up close, as we always do. Quick, short, uppy, closey time. Yeah. All right, yeehaw. What we have here is the KOF, King of Flavor RDA. We're just going to be taking a look at it from top to bottom. We're also going to put a build in it and wick it and vape it and, oh, so many good things. King of Flavor from hopandvape.com, RDTA. Obviously, you get a spare glass and you can pop this out and take a look at your RDTA. Yeah. So this RDTA has both bottom in airflow and top airflow, which is interesting. This is what the deck looks like. It's a little single coil banger, very easy to set up. I'll show you that in a sec. And your airflow actually runs through the posts on the RDTA. As you can see, your wick holes are right there. And then in the center, that is your airflow that comes in through here and then up through the center. And yes, you can shut off the top airflow completely, just like that, and use just the bottom airflow. Or you can use the bottom airflow and then boop, open up your top airflow. Like I said, your top airflow is going to line up with these holes right here. So you can see when I put this down on here, it's going to line up with that hole, and then to shut it off, you just turn it just a little bit so that your airflow is facing this sort of flat metal part, and that cuts off the top airflow. The deck itself is quite easy to build on. The only slightly wonky thing about this RDTA is the way that you fill it. See this right here? Well, this is a little plug, plugging up your juice fill hole. You kind of grab it by this little handle and pop it out. There's an O-ring on the bottom, and then that's where you fill your juice. And then you can press this back into place. And just from looking at it, you kind of have to be aware. You want to line up the flat side with this flat side and the round side with this round side. It is completely possible to take this out, spin it around the incorrect way, and pop it back in. It goes in fine and seats in there, but now, as you can see, everything's all effed up. Your airflow isn't going to line up. Nothing else is going to line up. So when you're filling it, you have to lift this straight out, fill it, and then put this back in straight away. And it actually stays in there really nice. It doesn't wiggle or wobble or accidentally fall out. It goes in and out pretty smoothly, and it stays in there pretty well. Little 3 mil capacity here on the tank. Taking a look at that 510 pin. Yeah, that is nice and protrudy, sticking past those threads. If you know what you're doing, you could easily rock this on a hybrid mech mod. So yeah, it's a pretty straightforward little RDTA. What we're going to do is put a quick build on it. We're going to wick it, juice it, get back out to normal view, and vape this little guy. I also want to point out that the 510 drip tip on here is a standard issue 510 drip tip. It's slightly conical shaped, but this hole right here is just for a regular 510 drip tip. So if you have something else that you want to use in there, like this, like a dot mod drip tip, like any other drip tip, maybe like this black guy right here, yeah, they'll all fit in there fairly nice. And apart from the spare glass, you do get a baggie with spare parts, spare screws, spare O-rings, and then a little Allen key, which we're going to be using to build it. Obviously, the first thing you're going to want to do is unscrew those little screws right there to expose the wire holes where your little wires are going to go in those slots. Now, this deck isn't gigantic. You don't have a whole hell of a lot of space to work with. What we're going to be installing today is this fuse Clapton that I got from Geek Vape, and it's a pretty flat wire. It's a pretty flat, wide wire. And what you want to do is make sure one of your leads is coming off in one direction to get into this screw, and then your other lead is coming off in the other direction to get into this screw. And all you really need to do is kind of place these in here. When I get that first lead captured right there, I just kind of want to position the coil where it's going to go as far as distance from the post, and then you just take your little Allen key and you tighten that down. Nice and snug. Yes. And then your back leg right here is practically already positioned in there. You kind of just have to give it a little bit of a nudge, and then when you screw this down, it's going to capture that second lead. So easy. You can see it right there. Screws coming down, clamping down on that lead. And that's pretty much it. From here out, you're just going to go through the motions, clip your leads, pinch and pulse, get them glowing evenly, and then we're going to wick it. So after we make sure our coils are glowing well, thankfully Hop and Vape included this feature right here where you can take this ring off And oh, look at that. Look at these big wick notches right there. It makes it so easy to wick. All I'm gonna do is eyeball it and cut a strip of this Celtic cotton off. I just roll up one end of the cotton and basically just thread the needle. Once your cotton is through, you can kind of see how much you're gonna need to cut off. So what I'm gonna do is just kind of make a dent right there with my fingernail, and then right there, yeah, that's where I'm gonna cut it. Eyeball it for the other side, ready, boom, roasted. And then you just tuck your wicks in. It seriously could not be easier. All I do is I grab it with my tweezers and I kind of push it into place. Look at that, cotton just sits in that little notch right there, and there's enough wick dipping down into that tank. And then with those O-rings facing up, all you do is screw this ring back down. Boom, roasted, just like that. It's built, it's wicked. Let's throw some juice on here and vape it. I'm gonna pop out that fill port right there, and I'm using a giant chubby Gorilla bottle, and even with these, yeah, you can see super easy to fill up the tank. And then you just make sure that your coil and all your cotton are nice and juicy. And yeah, dude, we're good to go. This came out at a 0.3 ohm single coil. So I've got it set at 70 watts on my Joytech Evic Primo. And when I press the button, a vapors happen. Like I said before, I've been having just a really fantastic time with this RDTA. It's really easy to build, as you saw. It's really easy to wick, as you saw. It does all come apart, so it's really super easy to clean. When you want to re-wick it, you can rinse it and dry burn your coils, and you're good to go. I love a tank or an RDTA that comes completely apart. I want to take it completely apart when I clean it. I want to rinse out everything. Even with all of the airflows wide open, even with the side airflows and the bottom airflow wide open, it's still not like a cloud chasing tank. It's very much a flavor tank. And even with all those airflows open, the airflow is smooth and swooshy, and the flavor, you guys, is on point. And what I like to do to get even better flavor and to get an even more restricted lung hit is I turn off that top airflow. Just turn it off completely. I'm only using the bottom now, which comes up through a little tube right to the center, right to the middle of your coil. The airflow somehow gets even more smooth and the flavor level goes even higher. I just get a very nice, very saturated, dense feeling vapor, and it's very warm. That could be the coil that's in here. It's a 0.3 at 63 watts. The vapor, when I have it closed down all the way and I'm just using the bottom airflow, it feels so warm and nice. And the flavor is really good on this. I mean, they call it the king of flavor, and I don't know if it's like the actual king of flavor. I mean, I don't recall like a ceremony where they, you know, knighted or made RDAs and RDTAs kings, but the flavor on it is still pretty damn good. I'm vaping Normal View from the Grim Green Signature line out of this. It's a juice that I have vaped, I mean, hundreds and hundreds of milliliters of. I know exactly how it should taste, and in this RDTA, it tastes great. I mean, just perfect. If I had to rate it on an arbitrary scale of 1 to 10, this is coming in at a solid like 8.5 for flavor. I mean, it's so good, so dense, and so saturated. I just love the vape I get from this. If you decide to go down the road and not use the top airflow and only use the bottom airflow, this tank does get nice and warm. I mean, warm, like borderline hot to the touch. The more airflow you have going at your coils, it's going to keep your coils cooler, which is going to keep the temperature, the overall temperature of your tank or RDA much cooler. But when you're using this like restricted lung hit, especially with a 0.3 fused Clapton at 63 watts, it's not as much air hitting those coils, and the coil's going to get a lot warmer, which in turn is going to make your whole tank, yeah, a lot warmer. I had to stick this drip tip on here that's just a little bit longer to kind of keep that warmth, that heat away from my mouth, but dude, it works so well. I'm willing to put up with a warm tank every now and then. there's not a lot of things to fault the KOF King of Flavor RDTA on. If I had to, the juice filling system where you pull out this little pin and then you have to kind of set it down, and then you have to grab your bottle and you have to kind of fill it up like this, and then you grab this tiny little thing again with a tiny little O-ring and just snap it back in there. Meh, it's kind of wonky. I am horrible with losing things and small parts and O-rings and screws and tools and little tiny things. I have been extra overly careful with this tiny little juice filling pin because I don't want to lose it, and you do not get a spare in the baggie. But other than that, this is truly one of the best RDTAs that I have used. I love building on it. I like wicking it. It's so effortless. It wicks like a champion. The flavor and performance and overall quality of vape that I get from this RDTA, it's just top notch. So, I mean, are you going to need your vape budget hands for this? Well, clicking over to shoppingvape.com, which is Hop and Vape's preferred website, $34. What? $34.99? That's amazing. I mean, that's an incredible deal for this RDTA. Now, if we're going to play the aliens game or the FDA game where they come and take all of my vape gear and I literally have nothing left to vape and I'm looking for an RDTA, is the King of Flavor from Hop and Vape something I would seek out and buy? If I'm being honest with myself, it's probably going to end up in my top 5 favorite RDTAs. I love the Azeroth, I love the Alpine RDTA, I love the Troll RDTA, and I love the King of Flavor from Hop and Vape. But yeah, it is what it is. Enough rambling from me. It's coming very highly recommended. It's definitely getting a thumbs up, and it's definitely getting at least 2 banana stickers. It's that good. I'm not even joking. It's that good. If you're looking for a nice, quality, inexpensive, high performance, high flavor RDTA, dude, the King of Flavor from Hop and Vape. And I hate the name Hop and Vape, and I honestly kind of hate the name King of Flavor, but it's just a damn good RDA, no matter how you slice it or how you name it. But anyway, that's what I got, everybody. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, yeah, dude, let's keep on vaping.